Okay, good evening, gentlemen. Welcome to our flipped session on Shavuos and Bikurim. So, as this is a flipped session, the goal is to get you to understand it and learn at your own pace. So, I'd like to remind you that and encourage you that if there's something you don't understand, feel free to pause and go back and listen to the recording over and over until you get sick of it and you finally figure out what it actually means. Okay, fine. So for many of our other holidays that we have throughout the course of the year, there seem to be mitzvahs associated with the holiday. Not so much by Shavuos, so certainly not modern mitzvahs. So you have by Pesach, you have Achilas Matzah, and by Pesach you also have destroying Chametz, Sukkos, you have the Arba Minim, you also have the sitting in the Sukkah, obviously. But Shavuos, we don't really have any halachically mandated mitzvos. More modern times, there have been various traditions that have been taken up, like eating cheese and staying up all night, but those aren't necessarily mandated from the Torah. However, once upon a time, long ago, during the the time of the Beis Hamikdash, so there were various mitzvahs associated with Shavuos, like the Shtei Halechem and Bikurim. So what we're going to be focusing on here today is the mitzvah of Bikurim. So the goal today of this flipped lesson is to get a background in the mitzvah of Bikurim, in addition to continuing to build our skills in being able to read the Mishnayos and other Jewish sources inside. And what we're going to be having you do is you're going to be reading the sources inside, and at some point you're going to present it to your peers, because ultimately the best way to learn something and to see that you actually do understand it, or you're not just parroting back whatever the Mishnayos tell you, is by teaching it to somebody else. Okay, so I'm going to discuss the transitions and the goal, exactly what we're supposed to be doing here. So when you get to class initially, what you're going to be doing is you're going to be picking up the packet which I've created, and you're going to see it right on the front of my desk in the morning. So you're going to pick it up and you're going to go to your assigned groups. So let's just look at the groups quickly. All this stuff will be in the packet tomorrow, but I figured it'd be good just to give you a background. And if you want, pause it, write it down so you have a better idea for tomorrow who your group is, and you can just get right into it. So we see David, Shlomo, and Avshalom. So you read the first three Mishnayos in the packet. Reuven, Shimon, and Levi will read the Mishnayos Dalid through Vav. And Shmuel, Gedalia, and Ari, you'll read the last Mishnayos that have been presented, Mishnayos Zion through S. Okay, so you're going to go to these assigned groups, and you're going to do your assigned readings. You're going to have about 15 minutes to sit in your assigned corners of the room, and you're going to read it, understand it, prepare it, and after the 15 minutes, you're going to split up into like a jigsaw. You're going to go to a group that you haven't been a part of, and you're going to teach the Mishnayos that you did to that group, and through that, hopefully, we'll get a good sense, at least of the basic groundwork of the whole ceremony that was done with Bikurim. So I've given you vocabulary words, translations of Mishnayos, in case you have trouble with it. This is a theory exercise, so hopefully you guys will know your own level and you'll try your best. And hopefully with this, you'll be able to get around to learning it and understanding it. Fine. Okay, so with that, we're going to go straight into a little bit of background for Bikurim, a little bit of stuff which will hopefully help give you a good background for the Mishnayos that you're going to be seeing tomorrow. So fine, so we have the concept of Bikurim coming up in a couple of places throughout the Torah. First in Shmos, in various places, like in Perek Gimel, Perek Lamed Aleph, which are discussing the various Moadim. We see Reish Ruchad Nascha to be based Hashem Elokecha. Lo Sivashel Gedi B'Chalev Imo. The last part, Lo Sivashel Gedi B'Chalev Imo, we're not going to discuss now, but the first part is the more of the focus of what we're dealing with, is that the first fruits of your land, you're supposed to bring it up to the Beis Hamikdash during the Chag of Shavuos, as it says in other places, which hopefully we'll see. And you bring that, so you're going to bring that up, and that's what you do. Fine. So this is one of the places, but the more famous place is that we discussed it is the end of Dvarim, Parshas Ki Savo, that is discussing the guy who's going to, when you get to the land, you're going to bring the first fruits, and you're going to be saying this vidui. So the vidui is the subject of a couple of Mishnayos in the parak. So this is the vidui, that this is what the person bringing the first fruits reads. Some of you might recognize part of it from the Haggadah. It's about Aram Yovid Avi. It's talking about the history of the Jewish people. And the whole point of it is basically to show your gratitude to God for throughout the course of history, from bringing the Jews out of Egypt, from a lowly stature to being here in the land on this very day. And it's supposed to be a very happy occasion. And so let's go to the next slide and discuss a little bit more about this. So just a few more ideas about Bikurim. So we have in Bikurim that there's no set amount of Bikurim from the Torah that we read Elad Dvarim Shalem Shir. So one of them is Hapeya Bikurim, which is first fruits, which we're discussing here right now. However, as other Mishnayos and Gemaras, which I didn't assign you, point out that Bikurim, that although there's no set amount from the Torah of what you're supposed to give, so still you're supposed to commanded you give 1/60th Bikurim. So Bikurim are like any other Matnos Kahuna, that it's the present that you give to the Kohen. There's a whole ceremony for the bringing of Bikurim, which is the discussion. A lot of the Mishnayos discusses that they would that everybody would basically go together and they would march and they would sleep in the streets and they would make everybody feel welcome. There would be a whole to-do about the Bikurim. And another point that I'll discuss in the Mishnayos is they would bring birds. Part of it was for decoration, to make everything look fancy. The other part of it was meant to bring a carbon olah. Okay, so hopefully this will give you a good background to help you learn the Mishnayos properly tomorrow. I told you the instructions about how to break up into groups, and all the stuff about the assignment will be in the packet that you're given out tomorrow. Just also be aware that that you should pay attention to your classmates' presentation, because there's going to be a check for understanding on whatever is given in the other Mishnayos, even the ones you don't do. As you further see the instructions in the packet tomorrow about what to do assignment-wise. Okay? Excellent, boys. Have a good night. Go take that hill.